I just don't want to work today. I don't want to work, but I need money. How do I do that? Hey, it's Ann from Priority Focused Life, and today we're going to talk about how I afford traveling full-time as a single mom. So the number one thing that I'm going to tell you is honestly look at your budget and see what you don't need. Probably the biggest expense that I don't have to deal with is rent. I don't have to pay a mortgage. I don't have to pay rent. My last rent that I paid in Jacksonville, Florida was $1,400 a month. And there's legitimately no way for me with my current income to afford the apartment and travel, or to afford anything close to that dollar amount and travel. So the only kind of rent, if you will, debt that I have is related to the RV. I do pay a small monthly payment in order to have that RV. I did not pay for it in cash, but the amount is smaller than a car payment that I've really had in years. So for me, it's very much worth it to have the RV payment versus having a house. My number one expense, honestly, in that RV was the gas. The gas was astronomical because I was not stationary. I was moving pretty much every few days, if not every day. So at 9 miles a gallon, that costs quite a big penny. So if I had to have that payment plus a mortgage or a rent, there's just no way that I would have been able to afford it. So that's number one, is just to look at your bills and figure out what you do not need, what you're willing to eliminate, and get rid of it. I still have some bills that I probably don't need to have, such as my cell phone. But right now, my cell phone is, of course, entertainment for myself and my son. It's also how I do my online work. So I use my phone for my internet so I can do all the jobs that I do. And so it's really hard for me to change that plan. I do plan once we go to Mexico to change that. I'm just not 100% sure what to change it to yet. So I've got a little bit of time before I figure that out. But my goal is to just not have the huge Verizon cell phone bill, but still get the internet connection that I definitely need in order to do my jobs. So that's number one, eliminate all unnecessary bills or debt, pay off what you can. Do not create new debt if you don't have to. Again, the only one I did create was for the RV. I go back and forth. Like, I kind of regret it, especially now as I'm gonna go at least 6 months without driving her. Part of me is like, but I still have to make the payments. But you know, I get a break from the gas bill. So that's good. And then one last thing I want to say about the cost of gas if you do happen to be traveling in your RV. There are so many ways to boondock or park for free in so many parts of the US, especially west of the Mississippi. So I very rarely had to pay for actual camping prices. I didn't have to pay for where I was camping. And a lot of places let you stay 7 to 14 days. I hear there are some states that actually have 30-day limits where you can stay someplace and not have to move around. So again, I chose to drive kind of frequently because travel nut. But if you wanted to be more economical while in an RV, you can definitely slow down your travels, stay still as much as you can, and then it'll be drastic. You know, the control you have over your expenses, living a more nomadic lifestyle is gigantic, and I hugely recommend, I guess, embracing that concept of, all right, I'm gonna pay for things as I need them, and if I can't afford it, then we're just not gonna go. We're just gonna wait. We're gonna chill here and enjoy life at a slower pace and less expensive pace. Now, along the same lines of controlling my monthly or daily expenses in the RV by just slowing down my travels is, as I choose other countries to go to, I am most definitely looking at the cost of living in those locations, how much it'll cost to eat, to live, to drive. All those factors come into play. So do your research on where you want to go and find countries that are cheaper. So as an example, my rent in at least the first Airbnb that I'm going to in Mexico is going to cost me about $250 a month. So with such a low rent amount, pretty sure I can afford staying in Mexico for several months and not have to, and especially because I'm not bringing my RV, I'm not going to have the RV expenses, specifically the gas or the import tax that you have to pay or the insurance that I have to pay to drive in Mexico. So again, it's just a matter of doing your research and being willing to live a slightly different lifestyle than maybe you are right now if traveling is your priority. So now let's talk income, because at the end of the day, no matter how cheap your lifestyle is, no matter how low your budget can be pushed to, you're gonna have to have some kind of income to eat, for the plane tickets, for the gas, for the RV, whatever lifestyle you're going to choose, income is always a thing. So for myself, my number one income is definitely still my Navy retirement. I served 20 years in the Navy, so I've got that for the rest of my life, and that is the foundation of what I do. I make sure that my minimum requirements are always, always, always somewhere within my Navy retirement income. So while that's not a lot, making sure that I live within those means just makes sure that I'm going to be okay. If I were to commit myself to something above that Navy paycheck, then I'm at risk for maybe not being able to make ends meet. Now, my Navy income is unfortunately not big enough for me to do all the things that I want to do. It's not big enough to pay for all the flights, or for me, just, it's not big enough. At the end of the day, it's not enough. I have to make more. Again, living in the RV, I spent so much money on gas that there's no way my Navy income by itself could have possibly covered everything. So other ways that I make money. So I work for a company called Rev. What they do is they transcribe videos and audios. So for example, when you're watching YouTube, the subtitles that you see in the videos, somebody has to transcribe those. And every once in a while, that person might be me. So it's definitely a minimum wage job. I make between $7 to $10 an hour. But the cool thing is I get paid weekly. So it's really just a matter of, okay, if there's something I want to do next week that maybe is outside of my normal budget, do I have time then to just grab my laptop and do some work, earn some money so that I can pay for the thing that I want to do next week? So it's been a really huge lifesaver whenever I've used it to earn just that little bit of money that will help me on the next week or whatnot. Now, that being said, like, there are moments where I wake up and I'm like, I just don't want to work today. I don't want to work, but I need money. How do I do that? So kind of the more passive ways that I make money, again, individually, they don't necessarily bring me a whole lot, but combined, they will cover the things that I need when I need it. So it's been a lifesaver as well, is network marketing, right? The dreaded MLM. I'm definitely part of that. I do not train people. I do not, I don't recruit people to join with me. If they sound like they're interested, dude, let me know. I'll hook you up. But at the end of the day, I'm not the one that's going to train you. Luckily, my upline loves to train. And so that's kind of my hook, is if you love the products and you're wanting to sell, I've got a path for you to choose, but it's not going to be me. I would rather travel. I would rather do other things than to, I guess, spend the hours training somebody else. So I've got an upline that does training for me, and all I have to worry about is producing or showing people the products. Again, I don't do it quite as much as I need to do, but luckily people love the products and they stay customers just because they love the products, and that's really helped out as a side income. The next thing that I do is I do affiliate marketing. I'm an affiliate marketer for 131, for Amazon, for Airbnb. And last but not least, I do a little bit of freelance writing. Again, all these things combined do not make a large income, but when you don't have the bills, the gigantic bills that you have for a normal lifestyle, every little bit helps so much more, and then you're able to do what you want to do.